All right, let's keep going on this job. So this is part 3. I'm actually going to start taking the distributor off. When I think of doing a head, I think of a Lego brick. So the head is the Lego brick. You have this side to take care of, the left side, the back, and the right. So I just kind of think about it that way. Just get all your stuff clear here. Got to get all your stuff clear on this side, on the back, and on the timing belt side. So that's how I think of a head. So you have 3 12mm bolts that hold the distributor on. Got my handy dandy trusty Milwaukee wrench. Love these things. I'll put a link down in the description below. Thanks to my peeps at Milwaukee that sent these out to me. I don't know if I'm able to get that with this wrench. I might need to get a ratchet and a socket. We'll try. Okay. That one's a little loose right down there. And then the last one is on the very back. And the problem with these, there's an O-ring that sits on the distributor, also known as a dizzy, and that O-ring leaks all the time. That's why you see all this oil down here, all coated down there. So now we got the spark plug wires here. I just left them alone. Just kind of pushed them off to the side. Bring those back over here. You have 2 connectors here, or one big one, I should say. Right here on the back side, you have the connector for the distributor. You have this tab right here, and I just push the tab down, and I'm able to push it down and get it free and clear. Okay? And then if you want to get that tab free and clear, right here, this tab, you push that in and pull up at the same time, you should be able to get this connector free and clear. The last bolt is right below this connector right here. You'll feel it when you get down there. So I'm going to get a ratchet with a 12mm. Alright, that bolt was right below where that connector is at. They're all the same size. I have this one at the very front I still need to get out, or not get out, but yeah, get out. It's broken free. I just need to work it out, but they're all the same size. Once I have these 3 bolts out, the distributor should come out nice and easy like. Okay, there we go. It's out. Got it free and clear. You can see right here where it goes into the head, it's actually indexed, so it only goes in one way. You can't put it in wrong. You can see that those 2 prongs are actually off center. And then you have where the 3 bolts go, right? This one's round, this one's oval, this one's oval. That allows you to adjust the timing perfectly. So you can either advance or retard the timing or whatever you need to be, whatever you need to do to get the timing set perfectly. And then once you put the 3 bolts in, you move it back and forth until you get it perfect, and then you lock all 3 bolts down. So, and then this O-ring right here is the O-ring that leaks all the time. Yeah, that thing's rock hard, man. That has been leaking oil for quite a while. So get this and place this out of the way. Okay, this big hole right there, that's where the distributor came out. You can see oil's coming out of there, getting down on that sensor. So we have a coolant line we got to get off right there. We have this sensor right there, this wire right here, and then this, you have a sensor right in there, water temperature sensor right there that we need to get out as well. So I will need to drain the cooling system next. This hose right here. This hose looks like it's never been changed. Oh yeah. That thing's nice and worn out. Super soft. If I push hard enough, I could probably put my thumb right through there. So I'll need to drain the cooling system. I'll put a rag in here to catch all that oil. This thing has been coating in oil for years. 4 years. Okay. Woo-wee. Get that off. Pop that one off. Oh, seems like it's broken. Let me drain the radiator, because I don't want to. There's still coolant in this hose right here, and I don't want to open this hose up with coolant in there, and I'll probably have to get this off as one. As I can't get this connector off, so I'm gonna have to pull this whole sensor out once I drain the cooling system. So let's do that. All right, going back underneath the car, getting to the petcock for the radiator, which is right here at the very front. There's the bumper, so it sits right here. And we're going to open that up and let the radiator drain out and let the cooling system drain out. And then I'll find the drain plug on the actual engine block so I can get the coolant out of there as well. Ah, come on. Sometimes these things are really stuck. And make sure you have something to catch it when it starts draining out. Okay, so let that drain out and we'll come back. All right, got the housing off for the upper radiator hose. Goes right there. Got the radiator hose out itself. Obviously the distributor's out of the way. Got this coolant line out of the way, which is right there. Got all the connectors off. Took the sensor out for that upper radiator hose housing. Took that out. There's an O-ring right here that we'll need to replace. That hose, let's see, goes all the way back. It starts right here. That hose starts right here and goes all the way back to that connector, that junction right there. That's part of the heater core hose. So if you need to replace this, which is a good idea, because as this O-ring, cracked and didn't do its job anymore and let the oil spill out, it actually got onto the hose, this coolant hose, and the hose swelled up. So that's what oil does to hoses. It makes it swell up and expand. It's really squishy. There's cracks in it. You can see right there. So it's best to replace this. Next thing I'll do, I'll go in there, I'll get the lower radiator hose off, which is right here. The thermostat housing is right there. You have an engine coolant temperature sensor right there. This bracket we'll have to get out of the way. I drained the radiator, and we'll start on the intake back there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take all the intake manifold bolts off from the top and the bottom. And then there's a bracket that supports the intake, and it connects. Let me show you that real quick. Let me show you that bracket I'm talking about. So we'll go underneath the vehicle real quick. All right, we're back underneath the car. This is the back of the engine. That's where the oil filter actually sits right there. So right there is the oil cooler. You have two coolant lines that connect to it. And then right here next to it is this bracket. So that bracket goes to the bottom of the block. And then it goes to the bottom of the intake, which is right there. So you're going to have to remove that to get everything, move the intake back towards the firewall so that I can get clearance to take the head off without having to take the whole intake up and out. I know some guys like to take the intake out with the head, but I just think it's easier if just leave the head there and sneak it out. I mean, leave the intake there and sneak it out, sneak the head out. So I'll do a video on that. I gotta go get the gasket for that. I don't know, I'm debating whether I should do the coolant hoses right there. There's one there, and then that round squirrely looking one is right on top. You can see there's a new oil pan gasket I did, liking that. I will disconnect the radiator hose. I have new radiator hoses, top and bottom for this vehicle. And let's go from there. Stay tuned for part 4 of this video series we're doing on this Honda Accord with the F22. I'll show you how to get the lower radiator hose out. It's kind of a pain, not too hard. Just I'll show you how to do that specifically, and then I'll get the rest of the bolts out on the intake, on the bottom and on the top. I have all the ones on the top off, but I'll have to go back under there and get that bracket out and get the rest of the bolts holding the intake to the cylinder head. I've ordered the hoses for the oil cooler, the coolant hoses, and I've also ordered the O-ring that sits behind there between the oil cooler and the engine block. So I will put a link to all the videos down below, but stick around for part 4.